Okay, you asked and I delivered. This is my official brush washing video. This is how I clean all of my professional brushes in my makeup kit, as well as my professional brushes. Now, there are a few differing opinions as far as how you should wash your makeup brushes and what you should use. My opinion is that you should always shampoo your brushes whenever possible. It's the most gentle way to clean them, and that way they will last longer and perform better for you. I know some people prefer using a liquid soap. I actually really love using a bar soap. It's the Dr. Bronner's Magic Bar Soap. This is in the lavender scent. It smells so good. But the great thing about it is that the smell doesn't linger on the brushes. So it's not going to be offensive to anyone who might be sitting in your chair who might be sensitive to those kind of smells. The reason I've been using this for years and years and years is because it breaks down all of the product, all of the makeup, any of the long wear makeup that might be in your brushes without damaging the brush. This is one of the only things that I have noticed that really gets my brushes super, super clean, but doesn't strip the brush or dry it out, which is super important, especially if you have natural hair brushes. I have both a variety of natural hair and synthetic brushes in my kit. Another great thing about Dr. Bronner's, not sponsored, I promise, it does come in a liquid form, so you can get this exact scent and many of the other scents in a liquid form. Like I said, I just prefer to use the bar soap. There's probably at least 6 different scents, including an unscented one, which is great as well if you're averse to any kind of scent and you just want to make sure that you're getting your brushes clean and you have no fragrance. I've tried all of them. I really like all of them, but I always go back to the lavender. I don't know. There's just something about it that I just really, really love. So keep watching if you want to see exactly how I clean my brushes so you can clean your brushes too and not be dirty. Okay? Clean your brushes. Forgive the rudimentary setup. I am in my kitchen right now, but this is where I clean my brushes. I make sure there are no dishes in the sink. The sink is clean and sanitized. I have my towels right here, as you can see. This towel is going to be for the wet brushes before I rinse them. And after we wash the brushes, I will move over here and I will show you how I dry them and I lay them flat. So I have a bowl right here in the sink. What I like to do is I like to fill it with pretty hot water. I'm going to put a little bit of Dawn in here. So we have the basin full of the soapy water. I have my dirty brushes right here. These are the brushes from my kit, and then these are my personal brushes. I'm just keeping them separate, but I'm going to wash them together. I have my Dr. Bronner's soap that I mentioned before. This one is almost gone. And then I have this silicone scrubby pad. I don't know how I ever washed brushes without this, honestly. I've had this forever. I've probably had this for, I'm not even kidding you, 10 years. Now I cannot wash my brushes without this. It has the 2 textures. As you can see, there's the rougher texture and then the finer texture. I tend to use this side for my smaller brushes, but there really is no rule of thumb. And the reason I have this basin here is in the interest of preserving water. So instead of having the faucet run, taking the brush, running it under the water, soaping it up, the water would be running that entire time. I live in California. We're constantly in a drought. Let's just be more mindful of the environment anyway. Water is not an unlimited resource. I just try to do my part in that sense. So I try to preserve water. So what I'll do is I'll just take my brush and I dip it into the water. When I dip it into the water, I make sure to not go above the ferrule because you don't want any water getting into the ferrule because it will ruin your brush. I've lost quite a few brushes that way, unfortunately. And then I take the Dr. Bronner's soap, get a good lather going right there, and then taking my scrubby pad, gonna lather it up. Then I'm going to place the soapy brush right over here. And I'm just going to keep going. This can get a little messy. I'm just letting you know. It's just one of those things where you get messy, you get it done, and then you clean everything up afterwards. So I have this sort of routine where I finish washing the brush, I put it down, I place the little suction cup on the side of the sink like that, pick up the soap, and repeat. And then you can keep dipping into that water until the brush looks clean. And then you want to scrub it up. If you feel like you need to, you can always rinse it off and repeat. I'm going to repeat for all these brushes. I have my synthetic brushes right here. These are my lip brushes. I'll show you how I wash these in a second. I do something a little bit different. So I'm just going to put these to the side. Remember, when you're rinsing your brushes, you don't want the water to go past the ferrule right here. If we get water in the ferrule, it can damage the glue and then your brush will literally fall apart. And since this is a bigger brush, I can show you. It might take a few times. You see how there's a little bit of soap in there? So that means we got to keep rinsing. Just split it. Sometimes I'll pinch it under the water too. And then look at that, nice and clean. Here we have our clean and rinse brushes. I have a fresh towel that is clean. And I'm going to take one of the brushes, and if there's any kind of wetness on the brush, I just like to start from the bottom, twist it up. And then when I get to the bristles, I pinch gently just to remove any excess water from the brush, and I twist it just a little bit. And then I like to knock it off just to remove any excess water and help it get back to shape. dry. And sometimes I'll even pinch through like that just to help it with its shape. And then I'll place it on the edge of the counter right here so there's air going around the whole bristle head just so then it can air dry properly. Repeat the same with any of the other brushes. And then for the bigger brushes, it's the same thing. Start from the bottom, up the ferrule, pinch at the top, like that. It's perfectly shaped and perfectly clean. Remember how I said that I do these a little bit differently? Well, the reason for that is because lip brushes and synthetic brushes that tend to have like lip balm or lip color in them, they don't really break down when you use them with soap. I've tried Dawn, I've tried the Dr. Bronner's, nothing really gets them super clean. The thing that works for me is using an actual brush cleaner. Now, I don't recommend using this on all of your brushes just because one of the reasons why my brushes have lasted so long is because I take the time to shampoo them after every single job. I don't use a brush cleaner and then leave them out to dry and call it a day. This brush cleaner has natural oils in it, so it will break down whatever is in the brush. You can use olive oil, you can use all those other things. I just use this because I know it works and it also sanitizes my brushes at the same time. So I'll just take a piece of paper towel and kind of pour a little bit on there and then take my brush and just kind of work it in and then just making sure there's no product left over in the brush and then placing that to dry like that. Taking the lip brush, and as you can see, there is some product in there, even though it looks clean. And what you want to do is you want to rub until you don't see any more product. And then I'll even do that just to get in there on both sides. And since this is technically a sanitizing solution, I like to use it to sanitize my tools as well. So I'll clean my palette knife, I'll clean any of my tools with this solution, and it works just as well as alcohol. And there we go. That's how I clean my brushes. If you like this video, please hit that notification bell and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content from me. And if you want to keep watching, please check out my playlist right here. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week with a brand new video.